Let's breathe some life into the old girl. Hello everybody, I am Nick the Naval Architect, and just gaze upon that gorgeous passenger ship. Glorious combination of efficiency, safety, and beauty. Mwah! Perfection. Exactly the same as the day you first bought it. Hardly. Ships change over time, people. They constantly update, evolve, and grow with their owner's needs. This is most of what I deal with. As a naval architect, most of my effort focuses on modifications to existing vessels. This gives me a unique perspective. You might see your ship as a fixed asset, unchangeable. Well, me? I see a canvas half drawn. It's time to extend those lines and breathe some new life into your ship. Let's talk about options for major refits on a passenger ship. Now, when I say refit, I mean more than just a fresh coat of paint. This goes beyond maintenance and repairs. A refit means the boat goes into the shipyard for an extended period. We're tearing out innards, cutting holes in the hull, adding whole new decks, and more. The refit involves a lot of new construction, new systems, new structure, major upgrades. Well, if it's that big of a deal, why not just build a new ship? The difference? With a refit, we don't start from scratch. We keep the hull, most of the major systems. That's 50 to 70% of your ship that remains untouched. 50 to 70% of the ship that you don't have to pay for. This is where the refit saves money compared to a brand new ship. Usually, we plan these refits for older ships as a half measure for your business. The second reason that your business would want to refit? Save money when shopping for a new boat. Ships depreciate over time. I mean, they depreciate a lot. This factors into the price when you're shopping for a used boat. A brand new ship might have cost $10 million to build, but as a used boat, you can buy that for only 40 to 50% of that cost, saving you millions of dollars in the process. Now sure, that's an older boat, but even if we're talking a 15 to 20-year-old boat, that's still generally built the same as the new expensive boat. Pointy end still goes forward, bottom still points down, and water still floats the boat. So under the right market conditions, the best business strategy might be to buy a used boat for cheap and then refit that boat to make her look shiny and new. Finally, we might want to just update the aesthetics interior. We love the old girl, she's a champion, but she's showing her age. Appearance matters when you're selling to the general public. So, time for the refit. Revamp the exterior, update to modern styles, change the interior, get rid of that old smoking room that no one uses, tear down some walls, make space for a dance floor. All of these options can help to update your company's brand, match the needs of your modern customer. So as you can see, there are a lot of reasons to do a refit, and all of them really come down to updating your vessel to match the current needs for your business. And the first need for any ship, don't flip over. It's time to talk about stability. Passenger ships meet very demanding requirements for stability, and that's so that we can keep everyone safe. But this can also become a challenge. As your ship gets older, all those changes over time, well, they tend to raise the vertical center of gravity. The weight starts creeping vertically upwards. That's because most of the changes are at the top of the ship. This will eventually reduce your stability. Over time, it will reduce it so far that it forces us to reduce the passenger count. Less passengers means less revenue. Pretty soon, expenses start to outweigh revenue and the ship is losing money. That's not good at all. So to cure this problem, we do some corrections to bring the ship's stability back up using one of two major strategies: fixed ballast or sponsons. With fixed ballast, what we're doing is we're adding weight down low, near the bottom of the ship. Adding all of that weight down low lowers the vertical center of gravity, restoring our lost stability. And when I talk about weight, we will use anything we can for ballast. Bricks of iron, concrete, drilling mud, anything that is heavy and relatively cheap to buy. I say relatively cheap because we're usually going to need a lot of it. We're talking tons and tons of weight added. The downside to this fixed ballast, though, I just added tons and tons of weight. Your ship has a limited weight capacity. We can't just pile on the weight without any consequences. And that fixed ballast is going to eat into our capacity. Normally, we have to trade off fuel capacity. More ballast equals less fuel. Less fuel means shorter distances between refueling. Now, if our ship is traveling on short routes, like a dinner cruise or a ferry, that might be acceptable. If it's not acceptable, the other option we're looking at is sponsons. We build these large blisters onto the side of the ship, and those will make your hull wider right at the waterline. A wider hull gains more stability. This trick works to quickly add a lot of stability without a huge weight gain. You retain most of your fuel capacity, but your range for your voyage does go down. Those blisters that are on the side of the hull, they do pile on extra drag. They slow you down more. That's going to result in higher fuel consumption and a slower top speed. One of the other major objections is that a lot of times sponsons just don't look very good. They're very obvious as a secondary addition, and they don't match the rest of the lines of the ship. But still, if your ship doesn't travel very far, or if it moves slow, then this can work. Puttering along for long tours up and down the coast, the sponsons won't hurt you that much. We might even decide to use a combination of both of these approaches depending on your exact requirements and how much fuel capacity you need to keep. The end goal for all of this, though, is the same: extra passenger capacity. We want to regain any lost stability. We want to regain our passenger count because, again, more passengers means more revenue. Speaking of numbers, what about subscribers? Only 7% of you people are subscribed. Oh, I understand, but my kittens, they think you don't like them. They fear that without the subscribers, they're going to lose their kibble. What will they do without the kibble? So please, subscribe to the channel. Do it for the kittens. You don't want them to starve, do you? Back to ships. The next major thing you can do is an interior renovation. Customers are drawn to attractive ships. You can obviously see this with cruise ships, but it still translates to smaller passenger boats as well. And with many passenger ships, what we're actually selling is an experience, not just transportation from A to B. The romanticism of the sunset cruise, the carefree party, the open bar, good friends. Now, if you want to sell that dream, you're going to need a ship that matches the vision. Time to put a facelift on the old boat. And this can actually be easier than you think. When you look at the interior walls of a ship, relatively few of them matter in terms of structure and strength. Many deck houses on a ship are built as a massive open interior with only a few pillars in the middle to support them. All the decorative walls that you see in the middle, a lot of those are not structural. They're not holding anything up. You could safely tear out the majority of those bulkheads and build a completely new layout. And this is where the naval architect steps in to tell you which of the bulkheads are safe to tear out. Now that picture on the screen, yeah, that's pretty cool, huh? Interior renovation might mean something like this: hiring a decorator to jazz up your ship like a nightclub. But frequently, with a refit, we're going further. Things are getting more specific to your exact business needs. And here's a great case study. I once had a client that owned a 3-deck passenger boat. They offered a service that is a dinner cruise, live entertainment on board, and the beauty of the ship traveling up and down the river. It's a good business. Except that the ship's layout is working against them. This ship featured a massive atrium cutting through all 3 of the decks. This is a real problem for sound and noise that is easily traveling between all 3 decks. This meant that if one deck had a party, every deck has the same party. So if you're booking the ship, group events are all or nothing. And a full booking means 600 passengers. It's not easy to find groups of 600 people that all want to do one event. The second problem for this ship, the kitchen sucked. They lacked the space to truly cook for 600 passengers. Instead, they had to pre-package the meals and reheat on board. This ship needed a new interior layout. So for this example here, we're talking a pretty big renovation to the interior. I developed a plan to completely renovate their business options. We would first cover over the atrium with a new floor, separating all 3 of the decks, add doors in the stairwell, and acoustically isolate each deck. We put in some sound insulation and some floating floors for the dance floors. Now, even if you have people dancing the night away, relatively little sound is going to carry from one deck to the next. Then we install a new entertainment system with speakers zoned to each deck. All of this gives us the ability to book each deck as a separate event. Run a jazz club on deck 1, a poker tournament on deck 3, and a dance party on deck 2. Instead of trying to find a group of 600 passengers, you can now book 3 smaller groups on that same cruise. More nights that you have the ship fully utilized, leading to more revenue. We also planned to expand the kitchen, add in dumbwaiters between the decks, upgrade the electric service, and expand the kitchen capacity. Plus, upgrade the safety systems, add in a whole bunch of fire control that's required for safety in a commercial kitchen. You put all those changes together, and now you have a boat that can offer gourmet cooking. Passengers are going to pay more for a better meal. Higher ticket price means more revenue. This is all adding up to keep the ship profitable into the future. That's the refit I like to work on. It's renovation with a purpose. By changing the interior, we have opened up new booking options, updated the style, improved the entertainment, and increased the quality of service. All of this justifies the higher ticket price, and all of this without touching around 70% of the ship. Lengthening the ship. I saved the biggest for last. When you just need some extra space, it is time to lengthen the ship. Cut her down the middle, pull the 2 halves apart, and add in a new section to make the ship longer. It sounds crazy, but we can do it, with a lot of careful planning involved. However, this is only going to work in terms of small changes to the ship size, maybe adding an extra 20 to 30% on the ship length. We can't go crazy by tripling or quadrupling the ship's length. This is because a longer ship requires a stronger hull. But we just cut the existing hull in the middle. We didn't make the ends any stronger. We can get around this lengthening problem because not every area needs the same amount of strength. As your ship gets longer, the midships section of the ship, that experiences the worst stresses. Thankfully, this is also the section that we're filling in with a new bit of structure. So that new section can be stronger than the rest of the hull, and everything will match up quite nicely. But if you go too long, the existing sections also need that extra strength, and they're just going to be too weak to match that new ship length. So that's one of the major areas we have to check before we commit to lengthening our ship. On top of the hull strength, we also need to track all of those electrical and marine systems. It's not like I just take a giant saw blade and find a nice clean cut. When you cut through that hull, you are also cutting through hundreds of wires, dozens of pipes. And we need to track every single one of them and splice in extensions. New wire, new piping, but that's all new piping and wires that the original designers didn't plan for. So we need to check that each one of those systems can handle that extra length. This is why I say you have to be careful. Careful translates into a lot of calculations, with engineers guarding against all of these issues before cutting any steel. This is probably the biggest option and the most expensive option as refits go. And yet, the rewards will far exceed the cost. Imagine a typical passenger vessel that's, say, 120 feet long, 24-foot beam, and 2 to 3 decks in the deckhouse. That's 2 to 3 decks of passenger space. Now, if you lengthen that ship by just 20%, you're gaining over 1,700 square feet of new floor space. That's roughly the size of a house. That's enough room to add in a small restaurant, extra seating, a larger sun deck, maybe even an arcade for the younger passengers. So to be sure, lengthening the ship, that's no small feat. We're talking months and months of preparation and even more months in the shipyard. It's better to spend only some of your money on a ship extension rather than spending all of it on a brand new ship. It's not you, dear sweet ship. It's me, the business. We've changed. This is true. Business needs change over time, and your ship should adapt with those changes. Don't see the ship as some immutable object cast in stone. No. Recognize the potential for change, from minor stability corrections to major lengthening projects. These incremental refits, they become the key to maintaining your ship as the valuable asset that drives your business forward. So ask a naval architect how we can help. And yes, DMS is a naval architect. You can ask us. Come to us with a daydream and half of an idea, and we will forge those ideas into reality, keeping your ship working at its best. Thank you very much. I am Nick, the Naval Architect. Thanks for watching. Some firms like to brag that they have built ships for over 100 years, that they've been building them since the 1800s. And my thought is always, well, that's good, but are you still using sails and rivets? Tradition is good, but we need modern science to balance it. And DMS brings big science to your ships. We apply advanced engineering from the larger ships to create high-performance solutions on your smaller vessels. So check out our website and learn how we can make your ship stand out. Thanks very much.